What's up, everybody? This is episode 2 of the Ron and Jack podcast. Got a little bit of opening thoughts today. I want to know Jack's opinion. I also want to hear you guys' opinion on this. I don't want to touch too much on the Dudley Road episode. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out on our YouTube page or SoundCloud. I thought it was a very, very good video. I think the Dudley Road myths are definitely unconfirmed, I would say. We definitely don't believe fully in all the stories. We think that it's just a shed, as what was discussed last podcast. But definitely go check out that video, guys, if you haven't checked it out yet. And check out our podcast that we just recently uploaded to YouTube. As always, if you guys have any inquiries or anything, definitely check out our email and send us an email if you guys have any questions.
What's our email?
Comments. It's Ron and Jack podcast at gmail.com.
Ron and Jack podcast
at gmail.com.
Right,
so
send us that email.
Send us an email about something that you want to hear about, or
apparently we already
comments.
got an email.
Yeah. Apparently, we've shook some of the Billerica, Mass residents with our last podcast, as well as the young lady who posted a article on onlyinmystate.com. You guys should definitely check that out on that website. I think the girl's name was Sophia, if I remember correctly from reading about it today.
There.
But she wrote an article on Dudley Road in Billerica, Mass., the same road that we visited in our past video. And basically, she was told by a Billerica, Mass. resident, I'm not going to say any names here, I'm not trying to stir up any drama or anything, but she wants all the Dudley Road stuff taken down. She thinks it's...
No, not her. It's someone...
Not her.
Someone commented on her article. Dude.
Yeah, someone commented on her article that... I'm not going to say any names about who commented it, but a Billerica, Mass. resident basically said it was extremely disrespectful to be disrespecting a Billerica road and the nuns that live on the road. And
she was basically saying she doesn't want kids walking down the road because all these kids are probably showing up like this is
she doesn't want people walking down the road or anything like that. And I understand that, but you can't tell me that you buy a house on Dudley Road and you don't know about the ghost stories on the road, when if you type in Dudley Road, Billerica, Mass. in Google, I'd say a solid 10 articles pop up that just say haunted road, Dudley, Mass. Most haunted road in Mass, some of them say.
Well,
I dispute that. There was some that have said that.
Really?
There was some that have said that, but
I thought that was the
so
this
forget about Dudley Road at this point. Like, as we said, we're not going to go too much more into that on this podcast, but it leads me into my opening thought of this podcast that I want to discuss and talk about. And the main theme is right now for the opening thought for me is hypocrisy in America.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's sort of a rant I'm about to go on right now, but like if you look at these comments, and a lot of people too that post the comments up on Billerica, if you look at their profiles too and what they stand for, what they support, a lot of them are extremely anti-Trump based and have a lot of posts on their profiles. I've done a little bit of research.
What, about Dudley Road?
Not about Dudley Road, but I'm connecting the Dudley Road full story to political hypocrisy and hypocrisy in our country a little bit.
All right.
Where these people post on their profiles as well that they don't agree, and a lot of Hillary supporters. I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm an independent, but I just call out bullshit when I see bullshit. I call out hypocrisy when I see hypocrisy because I can't stand it. But the hypocrisy here is a lot of people say that Trump, as people know, is attacking certain media outlets, whether they be liberal or whatnot. He attacks them and says that they shouldn't be posting fake news or whatever, and that he's got to shut them down or whatever he says, where he doesn't like these media outlets. So if you're not for Trump shutting down media outlets, which I'm not for either, I think everyone deserves freedom of speech in this country. It's something that people have fought for. It's something with our country that I deeply enjoy. I think you need to have separate thoughts from other people, and that you need to. Jack just saw a skunk. We saw one last episode as well.
The skunk
going
is back.
Going across our
the skunk
where we're recording right now, but I think that in America, going back to our thought right now, my thought is that everyone needs to have an opinion. You can't start thinking that your opinion.
God. Ron just wants to argue with me right now.
No. Everyone has to have an opinion. You can't say that someone can't have their solo opinion on something, or that people can't say Dudley Road isn't haunted or post that on the internet, because it's not fake news. There's people that have had these experiences.
Well, okay,
so you can't discredit an
Here's
experience.
the thing
And if you're gonna go in to finish up my thought, my little rant here to start off the podcast, you can't be you can't be against Trump saying that he doesn't want this media outlet to post things bad about him or anything, or have an opinionated article. If you're not gonna do the same for someone that posts a Dudley Road article or anything of the likes, you know what I mean? You can't have that. You can't have it one way. It's not a one-way street. You know what I mean? Like you have to have an opinion. Once you have a world that someone just thinks that their way is the only possible way, then you can't have a discussion with someone. You can't get anything done at that point. And that's what we're sort of heading towards. We had to talk about this a couple weeks ago, sort of similar to this. That's my opening thought. Jack, go. I want to hear what you have to say about that opening thought.
You just said that everyone has to have their own opinion. Is that what you're saying?
I was saying that everyone's opinion should be heard. You can't just cancel out someone's opinion and say this can't be said.
I don't think that's happening. I think everyone's being heard right now. What do you mean?
No, but some of the comments on the Dudley Road thing, I'm saying, where people are like, this should be taken down. Like, why should it be taken down? This is someone's experience they're posting.
Yeah, well, okay,
if you don't like it, just shut off the article. You don't have to read the article.
Yeah, okay.
But that's my point.
But I haven't really seen that. I don't really see that ever happen.
What do you mean, like on articles? You haven't seen that with in the world?
People are pretty pro freedom of speech. Like, people are pretty free with their speech.
No.
I don't know what you're saying.
No, a lot of people are against freedom of speech.
What are you,
a lot of people don't want to hear what someone else has to say, and they'll say take this down, give me an example, or take that down. Like I was saying, you can't like that was basically the Dudley Road thing. The woman said take down the article.
No, you're missing the point. The woman saying take down the article because she thinks that the fact that her road is haunted is a fallacy. She's saying that this is a made-up story about my road that I live on, and she's just saying this is made up. That's all she's saying.
But she said take it down. That's the thing I'm pointing at. You can have that opinion, but you can't say take down the article, take down everything because it's slander. You can't say that because if you say that, then you can't be against Trump saying take down that news article.
That's a stretch.
No, it's not that big of a stretch. It's not that big of a stretch.
Because she's saying take it down because she doesn't want people messing around in her backyard.
Yeah, but it's not her. This actually wasn't a woman that lived on the road, I don't think, actually. She might have not. She lived in Billerica, though, I know that.
Okay.
What?
Well, she probably doesn't want her.
No, I understand that. But why the fuck does an article have to be taken down when there's hundreds of them on the internet?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be taken down. But I don't think she wanted it to be taken down, not because
but it's like stories, dude. There's stories everywhere. Like, of course, a lot more people believe it's not true than believe it is true.
Yeah, well, the fact about it is okay. Let's.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna have to pull up examples of these haunted places again because we need them to prove a point here. Basically, though, we looked up some other haunted stuff, right? Because we were just curious after looking up the Dudley Road, and one of the things was the Massapoick. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but the Massapoick.
I think it's Massapoiset or something.
Wolf Island Road, and Wolf Island Road is a very. It's basically the same thing as Dudley Road, but with scarier stories behind it. So we looked up that place, and we also Ron came across this place called Dudleytown in Connecticut.
Very interesting story.
And Dudleytown is pretty. It's a long story.
I'd say that's sketchier than Dudley Road, though, just because.
It's pretty sketchy, but it's also very far-fetched because the people that they say were involved in this Dudleytown are not exactly connected to the whole story. So it's kind of like, I think these people that the connection that they pull to Dudleytown is fabricated, or it seems very fabricated because there's no solid evidence behind this. You know what I mean? There's really no solid evidence behind this Dudleytown place, but the stories are very, freaky again, and people say that they've a lot of people have said they've gone there and experienced weird stuff, and there's a weird story behind it, and people. But this is another place where you can't go to it anymore because it's like private property owned by like landowner.
It's owned by like a rich group now.
By a landowner association, and the cops like arrest you for trespassing, so you can't go to it. But
which I find more interesting than even the story, really, at this point.
Why did I bring up this story again? Oh, I was saying that. That story is saying that this is scary, but don't come here because it's private, and you don't really know if it's true or false. So you want to go there and find out if it actually is haunted, right?
Yeah.
But you can't because if you go there, it's trespassing. So Dudley Road is a
but
private
that's actual
area.
Trespassing, where Dudley Road isn't a private area; it's a public road that you can drive through.
All people are doing is just looking at
where
looking
Dudley
at the
Town
shed,
is,
at the shed.
yeah, when Dudley Town is an actual privately owned piece of land that you are trespassing on, where Dudley Road isn't private at all.
Yeah.
But to my point, though, is like if you have so many complaints about it, like you chose to live there. Like, don't tell me you didn't research Dudley Road and not see all the Google articles come up.
It's like if you lived in Washington D.C., like if you lived next to the White House, you're gonna expect to see
That's like buying a house on Massachusetts Avenue and not expecting there to be traffic every day there.
Yeah, it's like
that's literally the same thing.
It's living in the like busiest part of California and then saying, "Oh, I didn't know there was."
I didn't know there was gonna be traffic over there. Like, dude, give me a break. Like, you knew. You had to have known. And if you didn't know, you're ignorant and just are not a good home buyer. Like, you just don't know what the hell you're doing.
Okay, that I'll agree with on.
Yeah, like, you can agree with that. Maybe I didn't explain my opening point as well as I probably should have, but that was just my opening remark.
No, because this is another thing where you like to do this a lot, on. You like to take things to the next notch where, like, they don't really need to be taken.
No, but they still can be taken to where I take them to, though.
Alright. And so your point about people not being okay with freedom of speech, like, I didn't see where that came from.
I was talking more about, like, the fake news thing that's being thrown out there now.
You talking about fake news?
Where I'm talking about, like, how, like, people can put fake stuff on the internet. But to be honest,
this will lead me. I'll talk about something.
I don't even have a problem with that, though. Like, listen to me out here. I don't even have a problem with fake news because as a reader and as a person, you have to have a higher intellect to actually research into what you're reading. And if you read something that's plainly stupid and you believe it, like we see it on Facebook all the time, your friends will repost shit that is dumb as fuck most of the time. A lot of the time, you'll see a dumb fucking thing that's not even real. You'll see it posted on the internet, and people will be like, that's not actually correct. You probably should have researched that again.
What are the things that are getting the most traffic on the internet right now? Like, if you guys just had to say.
I haven't really been focusing too much on the internet on Facebook lately or on social media.
Just like not, okay. Well, when you go on the internet, like, what are the things that are the most what are the
Trump's
most popular?
big, I'd say.
All right, well,
like anything Trump related.
What I would say.
It's probably the biggest right now. But.
Well, actually, here, restate your first statement again.
For what I just last said, or my opening
statement? You just last said.
I was talking about how I don't even have a problem really with fake news. I don't really have an issue with it. Well, no, I don't have an issue with it because you as a consumer. Well, no, I do sort of have an issue with it because, like, you shouldn't be posting dumb fake shit when you know you're posting fake shit. But a lot of the time, too, at the same time.
So yeah, what is the most? This is my thing about, like, you're saying people post a lot of dumb stuff on Facebook and stuff. Well, what is the most well-known stuff on the internet right now? Like the most popular things right now are like memes, Instagram, Snapchat. You always hear about Snapchat. You always hear about Instagram.
Well,
you always hear about YouTube. You always hear about like memes. Vine videos. Like funny, stupid stuff is the popular thing in the internet culture nowadays.
Yeah.
So you're saying yes, people put.
I'm not saying funny stuff. Though.
Yes,
I'm not talking
about.
With you.
Yeah. And let me just cut in right here because yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
There's funny things on the internet, but here,
yeah.
I'm gonna have
there's funny things, but I'm talking about like stuff that's actually like sort of serious and is actually like fake and not true, and it'll be posted and someone will think it's real.
Well, here's a segue real quick.
You know.
So coming in, this is episode 2. I don't know where we are on the time right now. We have to do a time check. I don't think
We should
started
check the
off very
time
messed
because
up.
I just
But
want to make sure where we're at.
but yeah, no. Well, we just started off. We're good for right now. But I would just like to say this is episode 2. One of the goals of the podcast that I don't think we even stated was that the podcast really is just to record our thoughts, because we feel a lot of people really don't record their thoughts anymore.
And it's like
Back
history.
in the day, yeah, it is.
And it shows how you sort of grow personally,
yeah,
too.
it will show it's history. It's history of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's history on a larger scale, like if your grandkids or if your descendants happen to come across it and just want to see. Because earlier on, a lot of times you hear about people like keeping diaries.
Yep.
Like this was my grandfather's diary, or this was like what my grandfather wrote about like back during the war.
Yep.
There's a lot of that, and there's really not a lot of that now. Like you kind of live, and then you don't really leave behind anything. So that was one kind of cool aspects or motivation behind the podcast, and. Yeah, just for the history aspect and just to get our thoughts out there too. So really just a way to just say like, this is what I was thinking at this point in my life, and then go back and listen to it later on and say, wow, this is how I've changed.
It's also interesting as well because like if you look at a lot of people in our age demographic, like the 18 to 24, 25-year-olds, like a lot of them think about sort of the same type of things.
Millennials.
A lot of time, the millennials, like, we think about the same type of stuff a lot of the time, and it's definitely interesting to see all of our thoughts come together, and what we're interested at a certain moment isn't always what we're interested in at a certain time.
So
like it's always different.
Here comes my segue into what Ron was saying about the internet. Yeah, or the fake news. Ron brought up fake news, and I just wanted to say, yeah, today with the information that we have, there's a huge increase, I'd say, in information that we've as humans or as a civilization have just noticed recently. And there's a good quote on my OneDrive, but I'd have to take my phone down and look at it. But it was about saying that like the person who controls the information controls the world, and like some guy said that, and it was on Wikipedia. It was he said that. I think it was tied in. The quote was tied into like what Wikipedia is, because basically Wikipedia is where everyone gets their information from. Their factual information. So whoever controls Wikipedia and what is facts, they control like everything, or like really, because we're in an information age right now, where the amount of information is crazy.
I call it like it's the golden age of information dumping, is what I like to call it. Like,
well, now that
everyone can dump anything on the internet.
Yeah, because back in the day, like if you wanted to share information with someone, you had to send a letter like overseas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Email is recent, and when it started email, they mainly did it for professional communication. Like,
mainly.
Like the average
basically
Joe
AOL.com was like the sort of the start, right, of the email age.
They didn't have it for your average Joe like right away.
I remember back with dial-up. Dial-up was sort of like, it was the thing back in the day.
Well, it took a long time, yeah. But then recently has the information been coming in so fast, because you know what I mean? It was over mail for a very long time.
Like, dude, look at Twitter, man. Like, things are getting posted as we speak right now, just random things that people are experiencing in their life.
If I want to say something to the King of England, like, just as an example, if I want to say something to the King of England, then like I can just tweet at him, and that's it, and my information's out there. Before, if a peasant wanted to talk to the King of England, the peasant was never going to have a chance to go talk to the King of England. He had to wait in line. You know what I mean? You had to send him.
Or like information was sent through like newspaper, which arrived like mad early in the mornings.
We can get everyone's thoughts and feelings on things immediately. Yeah. And we're getting it so fast that we're not.
It also, keep up with it. I would make the argument too. It's sort of like it made our society more sensitive to other people, to information. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely made us more sensitive to other people's situations, I feel like.
Well, more aware.
More aware, yeah, maybe more aware. You'd say for sure. Like, I think people are just more aware of other people's situations, other things going on in the world. Like, we're definitely more aware of like global events now, I would say. Way more aware of global events than we were before the internet and things like that. That's definitely a interesting topic.
But along with the along with the ability to share information so fast, we started off with like legitimate information like scientific stuff and war coordinates or coordinates during war,
Yeah.
and like very important information. And like research papers, like professors would share their research papers, would research with each other.
Education,
over email
it's
and
way
stuff.
easier to get your hands on an education now
Well, no,
online
that's what it started off as, right?
Yeah.
As very and well, yeah, I wasn't getting into that, but I was saying it started off as like, if you had email and you were sending email, like you were sending important stuff, like you weren't just saying
Yeah.
like LOL to your
Yeah,
friend.
yeah, exactly.
And now with the speed of it all, we can just send like LOL and like cat pictures to our friends.
Yeah.
So now that we can just send stupid stuff over the internet, now there's a lot of stupid information.
A lot of stupid information that isn't 100% accurate, and a lot of it's clickbait too, because the internet is very cutthroat with that as well.
And then someone figured out that they could market on this internet, and
Yeah.
then it turned into advertisements, and it's crazy stuff now, and it's kind of scary to see where it's going to go in the next 5 years. You know what I mean? Like if you asked me 10 years from now, what will the information that we get look like? I think that they're going to they'll get rid of a lot of education systems, or everything will be online. You know what I mean? I think we'll get rid of a lot of in-person education because in 10 years, when information is so easily available, I think that you won't have to go to school
Personally,
the same
I
way
think
that you had to
personally,
now.
I'm sort of a believer in that the internet has sort of killed trades a bit.
What do you mean?
Like, there's not as many people that are good with their hands anymore when it comes to like building auto mechanics and stuff. There's not.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not huge yet, but I think in the future you're going to see more of a turn even worse.
Yeah, well, no, it will just
Yeah.
it will just turn from auto mechanics to needing computer programmers.
You know what's weird too is like think about all your friends. Have you ever met one that doesn't have social media at all? Because I know one kid out of every kid I've ever met in my life, in the millennial.
You mean I've never had ever, or
Never had it. Never had Twitter,
ever in his whole
Facebook,
never had
and you know the kid that I'm talking about right now. Well, there's one kid that I do know that
Wait,
does
now you
have
have to,
no. To be honest,
no, honestly,
I don't even mind mentioning this kid's name because I envy him for not having social media ever.
Okay, all
I
right.
envy him, and I wish I was part of that. My friend Bork from college has never had a Facebook or anything, and just recently got a Snapchat.
Really?
That's the only thing he has.
All right, so it doesn't really count if he has a Snapchat.
No, but Snapchat, man, like.
That still counts as social.
All right,
media.
I guess that counts, but he doesn't post on it that much, and he's never had a Facebook ever, which I find extremely rare.
Yeah.
If you're a millennial and you don't have a Facebook, that is rare.
Okay.
That is rare.
Yeah. Or never had a Facebook, like ever.
Never had one. He's never had
That's
one.
pretty cool.
Which is I envy that. Like he's never really had to deal with social media.
How dumb it is.
But how dumb it is, and how much it's dumb people.
But how powerful it can
and
be.
how, but he doesn't know how powerful it could be. And like, he just got a Snapchat less than a year ago, dude.
Dude, it'll be crazy what they come up with in the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane. We're living at a time where technology is rapidly increasing. It's definitely increasing a lot, and we're gonna see a lot in the future of new stuff. Like freaking cars that can drive themselves.
Yeah, we'll see about
I
that.
know you have opinions on that. I have strong opinions on that. I'm not really all for it. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's really a smart thing to do. I think we already have shitty drivers in the world. Why do you want to make more shitty drivers and potentially, like, I'm concerned about how lawsuits would go with that. Do you blame the computer if the computer fucks up and, like, hits a car? Or is it the person that's sitting in the car that has to pay for that? What if a car that's driving itself kills somebody? Who goes to jail in that case? Those are questions I ask in my head about this autonomous car shit, Like, I don't know, I had sort of something I want to talk a little bit about, and sort of like small town corruption.
What's this?
You know what I mean? Like a little bit of like small town corruption that I've noticed just over the years. Should we just call out our town? I think we can call them out, right?
Wow, what are you going to say?
I do want to call out our town a little bit for this. Like, it's a town, in Mass. I feel like a lot of the towns have like their own little things called town selectmen. But so about, I don't know how many years ago, but it was definitely, it's less than a decade, more than 5 years ago. My parents did an addition on their house, where we had a lot done on our house at the time. And during this time, we ended up going a cheaper route where we didn't want to hire an in-town contractor. We actually didn't want to hire any of them at this point. We didn't feel like any of the prices were right on any of them. We didn't really want to work with any of them. So we ended up going with a different contractor who was pretty good. There was a lot of issues with our house that we're now just realizing that are being fixed now. But overall, my parents ended up making double on the addition. So their house is worth 2 times what it was worth before the addition now. And our house seriously needed addition at this point, so it was really good that we got that done. So during this time, the town was really creating a lot of loopholes and hassles for us to go through, and costing my family a ton of money at the time for really no reason. And there was reason behind it, but the reason behind it wasn't explained well to us, and that was the problem I had with it. And it just sort of reminded me of just like how small towns can have like their own little governments that dictate everyone else's lives, and sometimes they go way too overboard on things. And part of this story is we had to knock down a lot of trees, and there was a lot of dead pine trees on our lot. So of course they're gonna get knocked down eventually. We wanna knock down these trees. They're dead anyway. They're not doing anything for us. So we end up knocking down a significant amount of trees on our lot. Not too much, but we knocked down probably a good 5 or 6 trees on our lot. We had a lot of trees on our lot. As we knocked down these trees, we had someone come to our house where it was a local guy from the town that would come to our house, and he'd inspect how construction was going, how everything was going. And he basically told us that for every tree that we knock down on our own property, the property that we own, we have to plant up another tree. Or we can pay the town the money it would cost to plant trees, and they will go out and plant additional trees. This was going to cost a significant amount of money. Almost this amount of money almost like completely like derailed our entire project.
Wait, who's the guy that said you had to plant trees?
I don't remember his exact name or anything. I don't want to mention his name. I don't know.
What was his position though?
He was like a town like project inspector or something. Right. Construction inspector, we'll say. I don't know if that's the exact term for it. Not an engineer. This is a guy that's elected by the town of selectmen, to work for the town.
Does he have like experience in it or what?
I don't know exactly with that. I can't talk to someone's experience that I don't know personally.
All right.
But so what ended up happening is we ended up not even planting the trees. We said, no, F you, we're not planting the tree. We didn't say it to him, but we basically said in our minds, F you, we're not going to plant these trees. Still haven't planted them to this day. Never planted them. Don't plan on planting them. It's our own property. Why should we be told what we should do with our own property? That's sort of how we looked at it at the time. So this wasn't the only thing that they tried derailing our project with, and my conspiracy through this entire thing was that they don't like when people in town use contractors that don't routinely work in the area. So we think they were trying to make our project as difficult as possible to basically make it so we were not wanting to go the route we were going with this other contractor. So we build up the house, and our house is almost done. It took us way too long to get into it. Like, you've seen my house. Like, the addition on it was like a good addition. It was the complete inside was gutted, but it wasn't big enough where it took us 8 months to get back into the house. You know what I mean? Okay. So we end up going back. We end up almost ready to go back into the house, and the inspector comes for about the 4th or 5th time. He ends up looking at the house, looks over everything, and he says, hold on, like, your gutters are going off. Like, a normal gutter in a house, as you know, goes off the side of the house and goes over the ground and leaks out into the grass or whatever. He said, nope, you can't do that. He said that the water from the roof is going to run off the roof and pollute the ground. That's what the guy said to our family. He said it was going to pollute the ground, and made us install an industrial drain in our driveway. along with installing gutters that go through the ground and go into this drain and dump water off into the drain system. This was an extremely expensive project. It cost like an extra $12,000 to get this done or something. Something ridiculous, dude. To get this amount done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was.
And that's not even the house.
And that's not even the house getting done. That's just putting in a gutter system that the guy made us put in. And he said if it didn't get done, he wouldn't sign off on the house being able to be occupied. So that was just a little story about town corruption. But then to realize how corrupt it was, is there was a house that was built right next door to my house shortly after mine was done. That house ends up getting put up, and the gutters aren't going into the ground. They don't have to put a drain in at all or anything into that house. They also, behind the house, the air conditioning unit was not properly installed to code. And it ended up fucking the homeowners really bad, where the house ended up flooding because the gas or something outtake or something got covered with snow. Because it was too low to the ground for New England. And there's like code against this. So my question to towns like that do scummy things like that is how come you aren't checking the guy who spent a shitload of money to build a house, but you're checking the smaller guy who's just a working class citizen? That's my question to the town in that kind of situation.
Oh yeah, they didn't even check them.
They don't even check them. Like obviously they didn't check them. The AC's not to code installed. The gas outtake to the house or exhaust outtake for the dryer and everything is too low to the ground, so snow can cover it. The house could have exploded. Like it's like what the hell are they doing? You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. Like I feel like there's a lot of small towns that do kind of stuff like that where it's like I think it's cool. I think it's cool to an extent where you see how we have our large government where Trump and everything, but it's so much more broken down than that. Like we have our smaller town governments as well that we work with. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like Trump's just a larger scale government where we're more affected, I feel like, by the towns that we live in and the little governments that we select within our towns are even more effective at times. To education, to how we build things on our lots. You know, like all that kind of stuff. I think it's just an interesting thought. I was just thinking about that the other day. Just felt like I'd say it during the podcast, you know, for other people that have had experiences with stuff like that. Not sure how many people have experience with shit like that, but that's something that we had to deal with, and I think it's just an interesting thing with building.
Yeah.
You know, houses like
building
that.
the code?
Yeah, and building the code.
Building codes?
Building codes is something that I'm very interested in, and that was something in that I felt like was interesting. So I'm not sure if you have anything to add to that.
I don't know, just like building codes for different states.
Add to that story or not, or how you feel about the town and how
it's pretty funny.
How they handle things. I thought it was funny too. My dad thought it was funny as well. Like,
what do you mean he thought it was funny?
It cost him a lot.
It cost him a lot of money.
It cost him a lot of money, but at this time of life, dude, he's like forgot about it. It's been a while since that edition was put on, but
yeah.
We thought now looking back at it, we're just like, wow, like how scummy was the town at that point, you know? And I just think the whole thing with cutting down a tree and putting it up on your lot, screw off. You can't tell people what to put on their own damn lots, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
That's like getting a permit to build a shed, bro. I think it's the dumbest thing. Like, I think if you own a piece of land, you should be able to build whatever the fuck you want on that land. Whether it's a giant teepee hut that you smoke pot in, or a freaking football field, you should be able to build it in your damn house. You know, like, you should be able to build it.
What was it, Brock Lesnar shaker cups? Shaker cup bottles?
Yeah, the Brock Lesnar shaker cup bottles that we saw at the mall. Completely off topic, but, like, hey, bring it up anyway.
Yeah. The Brock Lesnar shaker cups. GNC.
The GNC, for sure.
Yeah, so they shut down the vitamin shop around here, which means you have to go to GNC if you want to buy stuff. But Ron was just like, yo, buy it on Amazon.
Amazon, I think, has better fitness equipment, for sure, and fitness supplements.
Remember, Ron bought this really cheap weight belt. It was
like
$5
yeah. Let's talk about that a little, I guess, yeah. So, me and Jack are I'd say we're decently into working out and lifting at this point
like,
in our lives.
As much as the next guy.
As much as the next guy. We're not, like, we're not bodybuilders, obviously, but we're into just keeping ourselves in shape.
Mike Rose, a plug right there.
Yeah. Anabolic Aliens, by the way, definitely check that out if you want.
Subscribe to that.
Yeah, subscribe to that channel. That's a very good channel. This local kid from our town.
Yeah, there's like, I mean, like, yeah,
Started it.
yeah, some kids are out here nowadays are either like really like into fitness, like beyond so, where they're you know what I mean? They're like completely into like physical fitness. Like people are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And then there are some people that are like, oh, I go to the gym like once every like couple weeks or something.
Exactly.
So, but they're really like not up every single day. And then there are those kids that are literally counting calories and watching diets and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not on that end, but I'd say like we're pretty into like physical fitness. I'd say.
Yeah, we're into it. We definitely research stuff occasionally. We're not extremely into it, but we research it. We
Ron goes
try
to
eating
the
right.
crappiest gym in the world.
Yeah, I go to this. Oh my god, I go to this cheap
But
gym
anyway-
right
but
now.
anyways, yeah.
But it's anyways, we're into working out. So I ended up buying this weight belt because I was just cheap back in the day, and I'm like, yo, damn, a weight belt like for $10. That's a steal. I'm gonna get that. Wow, it looks awesome. Comes in the mail, dude, and I swear this was built for a midget. This was built for a midget. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with the midget comment, but it was built for a midget, man. Like, I put this thing on, dude, and the weight is hanging down by my dick, dude. It's hitting my fucking dick while I'm, like, trying to work out. I ripped the thing off, man. I'm just like, I cannot use this till I go to Home Depot and now have to go buy more chain. Like, I don't know what the hell the manufacturer was thinking. Like, who are you manufacturing this for?
Yeah, so it was one of those belts where you put the 45s on it.
And you do dips. It's a dip belt.
Yeah.
It's a dip belt. It's not a weight belt. Dip belt is more of a term for it.
There's like a squatting belt or like a deadlift belt.
Yeah, that's
I
a
forget
weight.
what
That's a lifting belt. That's a weightlifting belt.
Yeah, it's a lifting belt.
This
Yeah,
was
it
a dip belt.
It wasn't a weightlifting
This
belt.
was a dip belt.
It was like one that it was basically it looks like a weightlifting thing, but it has like a chain on it where you see people put the 45s on it and it's down by their knees, but it's.
Oh, it was bad.
It's also funny because normally, or not normally, but a lot of 45s have holes in them, so you can like thread stuff through them, or at least the new weights. Like if you go to a new workout world or something,
I think this
or
is
new Gold's Gym,
the
new weights have like little slits.
weights that are plastic plated.
Yeah, plastic
have
or
it
rubber
on
plated.
there. Rubber plated.
Yeah,
I mean,
rubber plated
excuse
weights.
me, rubber plated.
You can
But
feed in to these like holes on them, so you can easily feed in a one of these chain belts. But the weights at Ron's gym were just
they just have the circle in the middle.
they were just solid weight.
They're cast iron.
Yeah, cast iron weight with no like attachment places. It was just the middle bar that goes through the thing. So that could have been a part of it too. But
That was part of it, but still at the same time though, like the chain was small even for
you must have got no. Did you get it from
rubber-plated.
China?
No, it wasn't from China.
Because I was saying, like a medium in China is like an XXXL.
But the thing is
in
that was a
America.
large belt and
So
it was built from it. It was
are
built
you
in
sure?
California. Yeah, it was California
It
made.
was California. You sure it wasn't made in China? It was made
Yeah.
made. You just got the wrong size. You got like the smallest.
Maybe I bought
size.
adolescent. Maybe I just didn't even know. Maybe I just bought adolescent. Maybe I bought Babies R Us or something. Who knows? You know.
Babies R Us, bro.
But yeah, that's definitely that was definitely one of the funnier gym stories that we had.
Why did we bring that up? That was pretty funny.
Well, you just started bringing up the weight belt. It was
Shaker
it was
cup.
definitely random after we were talking about small town corruption
Shaker cups or whatever.
and shaker cups or whatever. I'm trying to think of other funny gym stories that we've had over the years, but
I haven't had any funny stories like with you really. Like,
Yeah, you've never been there when anything's like actually happened, yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't there a couple weeks ago where this small kid he must have been high school or something, freshman. This Indian kid, he ends up he's on the decline bench, and
oh god, that's a death machine.
and so
That
I'm just
decline
lifting
bench.
all of a sudden, and
This
I'm lifting.
decline bench was made in like the 1950s.
Yeah,
And it's
I'm lifting.
like,
I'm lifting around the corner,
Yeah.
and all I hear is like, "Help! Help! Help! Help!" And I'm just like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I turn the corner. This kid has the 45-pound bar with 2 10s on it. And it's stuck on his chest, and I go over 2 10s. I go over there and I freaking bicep curl the thing back up to the freaking rack. And he's like, "Thanks, man. Sorry, that was embarrassing." And I'm all right, it's all right, man. Like I'm happy to not see you die today at the gym. Like I'm very, very happy that this that you didn't die today.
The kid probably weighs like $120.
Yeah, the
if
kid.
that.
I think he weighed like $115 or something,
$1.15.
$1.10.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, he was small and he was
Probably
trying.
his first day ever in the gym.
Yeah. God, dude, I've seen some bad stuff at that
Who's
gym.
on their first day in the gym though? Who's like, yeah, I really want to do the decline bench.
Yeah.
That's like not the first exercise you'd ever start off with, a decline bench. So that's a
death
it's
wish
a
for sure.
scary. If you don't know how to bench,
If you don't know how to bench and you go on the decline bench first,
Good luck.
Good luck. Just good luck, because you're probably gonna drop the bar on yourself. Because
Yeah.
like I've lifted with a lot of people too that have just started lifting. And actually, one of the kids that I was training with when I was at school in Rhode Island, I actually convinced him to finally go in the gym. It took a while because like a lot of people, when it comes to like gyms in general, I don't know, like if you've never really been to a gym, I guess you get a little nervous when you're like in there. I guess maybe, I don't know. I've never really experienced that with myself
say
too
that
much.
again?
When
first time you
I'm
go to the
saying
gym?
when new
Newbies?
gym newbies, I guess you can call them, but like I respect anyone that goes into a gym. I think that's like the first step to like a healthy way of living is going in the gym. So I gotta respect whoever goes in there, like whether you're like fat, skinny, it doesn't matter to me. Like you're in the gym trying to get better. But I'm just gonna get to the point now. But yeah, I don't mind that. Like I don't mind going in the gym, but you have to at least know what you're doing to an extent when you're in the gym. Because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be extremely dangerous if you're inside the gym and you don't know what you're doing.
Definitely.
You're not dangerous just to yourself. You could fall and hit someone else.
Especially with YouTube nowadays.
Yeah.
You should at least look up, like, how to bench before you go and try to bench.
Yeah, because you can seriously injure yourself. Yeah. Like, you can really hurt yourself on a bench.
Or look up, what does this equipment do?
Dude, there's people that have died on the bench press.
Like, yeah, but people use equipment the wrong way, too, sometimes.
Dude.
And there should be, like,
God,
you should, like... You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I know the gym can't force you to, like, look up the exercise, but, like...
yeah.
I don't know, like, who's responsible at that point if someone goes into a gym and drops a weight on their face?
No, they're responsible for themselves. So, like, that's why you sign a waiver when you go to a gym, usually. Like, most gyms, you sign that membership. You're signing a waiver that if you get injured, it's no responsibility of the gym that you're working out at.
Yeah, true. You do sign a waiver.
That's you sign a waiver.
That's pretty messed up, though. Imagine, like, someone dies in the gym. That would suck.
Yeah, no, it happens though. Like people people try lifting too much weight. Like that's why I'm a big believer in.
So Ron saved a kid with a.
I saved a kid in the gym. I saved a kid in the decline.
I have saved people on.
I actually almost dropped the bar myself one time when I was in the gym. Yeah, when I was in the gym one time, and I ended up I was doing too many reps and I was tired. I didn't have a spotter with me. And, like, I was failing on the rep.
Yeah.
I was failing. I couldn't get it up. And thankfully there was someone there. Yeah, couldn't get it up. Haha. But yeah, like, I was trying to get the bar up, and my arms were just giving out. But luckily there was someone there. He helped me lift it up. But
well, the first time...
But if that happens, too, like, one of the things you're supposed to do, when you're not lifting with a buddy, you shouldn't have clamps on your bar. I see that a lot from newbies.
Okay. So, yeah, well, now we got to talk about gym stuff for a little bit, because...
A little bit. We'll get into it. Why not?
But yeah, so, yeah. First thing is, what'd you say, the clips? Yeah, so there's clips that you can clip the weight to. But what was the thing you said? Oh, before we get into the clips, when you first start lifting weights, you don't know your own point of failure.
Exactly. You don't know your point of failure.
And then once you start lifting weights a lot more, you can tell, like, just when you pick up a bar, like, how many reps you're going to get.
Yeah.
You can be like, oh, I'm not getting any more reps, or I can only do this for one more rep.
And it's important to stop when that happens, too.
You'll have that muscle-mind connection, but it takes, like, a good, like, 3 months to get that muscle-mind connection, if that. Maybe a year to get a good muscle-mind connection. It takes a really long time to get that. Or, you don't just get it right away. So, first of all, people go in a gym, and they're going to load up weight on a machine, and they don't even know what weight they should be using. You know what I mean? So you see that a lot. And then the other thing is, if you put these bar clips on the end of a 45-pound dumbbell, or a 45-pound
barbell.
For a 45-pound barbell with two 45s on the end, like if that thing gets stuck on your chest, the only way you're going to get it off you is up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just shed the weight. If you don't put the bar clips on the end, you can weasel the weight off the bar if you ever get stuck on it. But people put those on, and I've seen gyms where they require you to put those on. I'm like,
Really?
yo, if I don't have a spotter, I'm not putting those on. Put those on when you have a spotter, so the weight
Yeah, if you
stays-
don't have a spotter, what you're
But
supposed to do.
for the most part though, is that you don't lose balance on a bench press like ever.
Yeah.
After you've learned how to bench press, like,
Yeah, you don't lose balance
by
on
the
it.
second week, the third week, like you got the balance part down on the bench press.
Yeah, balance isn't really the issue on the bench
Yeah.
press. The thing is, when you have too much weight, what you're supposed to do is, if you don't have a spotter, is you don't put those clips on and you wiggle to one side and you let the weights drop.
Yeah, exactly.
You let
That's
the
what I'm
weights
saying.
drop, and that's what you have to do, and that's exactly what Jack just said. You know, that's the way you're supposed to do it.
And you can look up videos of kids getting stuck under a bench press.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's scary. For some
Dude,
reason.
because you have the bar on your fucking throat sometimes, dude.
Oh yeah, I think an NFL player died doing that.
Dude,
Actually,
many people have died in the gym doing that, because sometimes you drop on your chest and
Yeah,
you break your it's bone here.
Sternum or
The
something.
sternum. You break your
but
sternum.
I've heard people drop it on their neck and die.
Yeah.
Before, so
You gotta be careful, man. It's nothing to like joke about. It's really when you're in a gym, you have to be responsible for yourself. You know, in your own body. You know your body better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know how much you can lift and what you can't. I've done leg press, and I can leg press a significant amount of weight. Not like too much, but I
Yeah.
lift a good amount of weight. I try not to go too high in the leg press because I don't want to put too much strain on my knees
anyways, yeah, but
when I'm doing it. But I've gone on the leg press, and like what you're saying, where people will just go and just do whatever weight's on there. I've had like 3 45-pound plates on each side, and I've seen like a 120-pound kid go up to the leg press after and try lifting that weight. And I'm just like, dude, you're going to like snap your leg, or you're not going to know what the hell you're doing. You're going to drop the freaking thing right on you because first of all, it looks like you've never used it before, you know? And leg
Yeah.
press is one of those dangerous exercises if you don't know how to use it. Same with squatting.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine going and squatting without
knowing
reading
what
how to
do.
squat. You're gonna like
Yeah.
destroy your knees, dude, if you don't know how to squat right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like you have to just it's a research, and it's definitely like a thing where like don't be discouraged if you go into a gym and you see someone doing a lot of weight. Do your own weight. It'll take time, but you'll eventually become like to their level. You'll eventually get there. You know, it just takes time, effort. You know, consistency is a big thing in the gym. You have to consistently be going to the gym. Whatever your routine is, whether it's 3, 4, or 5 times a week, you consistently go that amount of times.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard at first. At first, you're like, I don't see much progress yet. Once you start seeing progress, you want to go to the gym. That's just how
basically.
it is. You know.
Well,
Maybe.
I think we got to do the 10-minute rant.
The
But
10-minute
Yeah, I
rant.
just wanted to say, I've seen some pretty nasty gym accidents before, but we don't.
Dude, I saw someone actually like a week ago.
I've saved people on decline benches before though. Myself.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually.
If you go to like a college gym or a gym where there's a lot of people lifting that are may not be, ego. They're probably all ego lifters.
ego driven,
basically.
yeah.
If you go to a gym where they're all ego lifters, you'll definitely save someone from a decline bench one time in your life.
Yeah, you have to. It's if you see someone doing a decline bench and they don't have someone spotting near them, they probably should not be on the decline
No,
bench.
I mean some people can do it. Some people can have the good
yeah,
control over it, but no, I've actually saved people who, just like you said, have gotten stuck underneath the decline
Yeah,
bench.
it's happened to me. Not the decline. I actually almost got stuck on a straight.
I got on a what?
Before, on a straight bench before I
Oh,
almost got stuck. Not the decline.
I've gotten stuck on straight benches, but what you do?
But I rolled over and rolled the weights off.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't.
When it
roll
happened
the,
to me.
Yeah, actually, this is what I did, because I got stuck under the normal one when I first started lifting.
Yeah, it was probably. I think it was probably 2 months when I started
lifting.
lifting the first time.
I think because I wasn't doing a lot of weight, like, you know what I mean. I don't really bench a lot.
Yeah, I can't bench a lot either.
When I was benching though, it was maybe after the 10th rep where like I was like, oh shit, like I can't do this last one. You can usually just wait like 20 seconds and you'll have the strength back to push it back up.
Yeah.
So all you have to do, if it's not that heavy, if you were doing it for reps, you just have to wait. But if you were doing like a 1 rep max, then you have to, you know what I mean? Then you have to kind of like shimmy it down or something to your lap and hope you don't like hurt something.
There's also like, I don't know, maybe we can get a little bit into this story a little bit. There's also a difference between like lifting for endurance lifting, and powerlifting. And we had someone. You want to go a little bit into that story a little bit, I guess. Like, You don't want to go into that story? All right, we won't go into that story. But like a lot of people do confuse powerlifting and endurance lifting a lot of the time, and
Well, bodybuilding. And
or bodybuilding and powerlifting is probably a better way to describe it.
Yeah, there's actually. I mean,
I call it endurance lifting because it's sort of what I like doing.
I'm saying legitimate bodybuilding. Some people think a certain individual person thought that that bodybuilding, like actually bodybuilding, was powerlifting. They didn't know the difference between the two.
They didn't
So
know it.
I mean, I think like most guys at least
should know
the difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting. I mean, okay, you don't have to. I mean, bodybuilding. Jeez, I'm getting confused.
That's like, all right. So, do we want to go on a rant today? What do you want? You want to do the rant today, or
no?
do it?
You have to start off.
It's always the Ronny
so
rant.
this is kind of no. Let's say the format of the podcast a little bit.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the format of the podcast right now.
So the beginning is just whatever. It's normally basically just whatever, unless there's like
beginning's usually opening thoughts.
Unless there's a big event that we have to talk about.
Yeah, it's usually opening thoughts either by Jack or myself with our opening thoughts, something that's on our mind at the moment. We'll come and see. I'll say my thought, or Jack will say his thought, and then we'll discuss it a little bit, which we did today. And I think every Saturday we're going to try to get a podcast out. Yeah. That's definitely the thing that we're going to try doing. Sometimes it'll be exclusive video during the podcast if we go somewhere and we want to show something, or we're looking at a history type of thing, or an event. If we're at some kind of live event, sometimes we may take a video of it and post it up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think at this point we want to post the podcast to SoundCloud and YouTube, mainly because it's harder to get as many viewers on SoundCloud than it is to get on YouTube.
Well, I don't think a lot is as many people in
it's not as many people on SoundCloud as on YouTube. YouTube's so huge now. It's ginormous. Like,
I like SoundCloud though. Get a SoundCloud.
Definitely go. I like going to the SoundCloud site.
I have a lot of music on SoundCloud.
Check out Jack's music on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And check out SoundCloud, definitely. I think that's definitely something that we want to expand upon and get more followers eventually. You know, and it's going to take time. Like we said, we're doing this to express our thoughts at certain times in our lives, and we want to have a documentation of our thoughts. And if you're a follower now, great. Future followers, we embrace and want them to look at our past work as well. And that's what we expect is when someone comes and subscribes to us or decides to follow us on SoundCloud, we want them to look back at our Dudley Road episode, look back at this episode, and see what we were thinking at this time, and maybe you'll enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, and in the last like 10 minutes of the podcast, we do rant.
Yeah, about anything.
Yeah, so last rant it was basically Planet of the Apes rant, and this rant, I don't know. Let's see, what's a good rant?
Yeah, we need.
Ron will start off.
Definitely for rants right now. To be honest, my rant this time is is about just guys in general right now. I just the stereotypical guy. That's my rant today, and I think Jack knows what I'm sort of going into in this one, and it's basically guys that they don't understand how they take girls and they put it into this complex science or something, or they take it and they look at girls and they think girls belong in like thermodynamics or fucking complex rocket science or quantum mechanics. They see girls and they look at that, when girls are really like algebra, kindergarten-based algebra. It's not as complicated as some guys make it out to be. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is we like going out occasionally, Jack and I. We like going out, and we notice when we go out that it's not really hard to have a girl come up and just talk to you. And I think a lot of guys sometimes, whether it be don't have the confidence, whether it be most of the time it's actually don't have the confidence, or they just they overthink and they try to not be themselves or something, maybe fabricate themselves a little bit too much. It ends up turning the girl off, and the girl will just like walk away from you and just not be satisfied with the altercation. She walked up to you for a reason. That's what you have to understand. And like a lot of the time, it's so easy to start a conversation with a girl. They just want someone to talk to, like they just want someone to connect with and talk to for a little while, especially at a bar, college bar scene. So my rant about that is that guys need to stop being pussies and saying that like girls should come up to them and that it's a problem that girls don't come up to them, and because that's just a myth. Girls do come up to guys. They will come up to guys. That's a myth. Is that you have to always approach the girl. A lot of girls are confident. Like don't discount them. They will come up to you. Jack, I want to know what I know you have strong feelings about this as well. I think I summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, no, you.
Like, I think I hit the nail on the head on this one.
Yeah, that was
but it
great.
frustrates me when I hear guys constantly come up to me, or just I overhear them talking, or I see things online where a guy's like, wow, that girl is, like, being such a bitch or something. She just, like, walked away from me, or, like, she wasn't starting any conversation with me. She seemed boring, or, oh, that girl's, like, I can't approach that girl. She should be approaching me. You feel like it sounds like you're an entitled bitch when you do shit like that. It feels like you're entitled to the girl when you're not entitled to the girl. They are human too. They're nothing different than a human. They want to have conversation. They want to connect with you. If you just talk to them, be yourself, have a normal conversation, the girl will be satisfied and she will continue talking to you. That's how it works. If they had no interest in you, they would never ever approach you. But a lot of the guys that I hear bitch about this stuff, they have girls approach them at the clubs and stuff. So what is the problem? The problem doesn't lie with the girl, it lies with yourself. That's my hot take for the rant tonight.
Hot take. Take it and run.
So I don't know, Jack, if you have anything else to say about the podcast right now, or if you have anything to say about that rant. I think I got hit it right on the head with the rant
that's pretty good.
tonight.
I think
but that was just something that's been in my mind for a while. I just had to let it out because it was just stuck in there for a while, and like I was just sick of hearing about it, and I needed to just put it out there.
I liked it.
And that's how I feel about it, you know.
That's just how he feels.
So I hate it or love it, you know. That's how it is.
All right, so wrap up. Let's wrap up.
Let's see, gotta wrap up the podcast now, guys. So if you haven't seen the Dudley Road episode from episode 1, it's up on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Check that out. You heard about the drama earlier in the podcast today.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts about my opening thoughts that weren't as expressed as I really want them to be, but hell, I just said what was on my mind. You know, you take it as it is. You know, that's how it is sometimes during these podcast things. You know.
What was the email?
The email is Ron and Jack's podcast at gmail.com.
Ron and Jack's.
Ron and Jack. It's Ron and Jack podcast at gmail.com.
That's a pretty easy email to get.
Very easy email to get. If you guys have any comments, anything that we can do to make the podcast better, like whether it be time of podcast, anything, like content that you guys want to hear about, places in Mass you want us to visit or something, or whether it's like paranormal, just a cool place you want us to visit, whatever the hell it is. Like, we love stories, love traveling, like places and just looking at stuff. Like, we're at that point in our lives right now, so that's about it that I have. You know, check out the SoundCloud page, subscribe to us on YouTube. I want to thank everyone that has subscribed so far, everyone that's liked the first video, and everything like that. I want to thank everyone that's supported us so far, and we're going to continue bringing out content. And we'll have the videos up on every Saturday. We're going to try to do that. These videos don't take... It took a little bit longer. I apologize with the first podcast. It took a little bit longer than I thought. There was a lot of editing that needed to be done, file conversion problems with YouTube that I had to work out and had to figure out how it was converting now. Different things with the whole YouTube format. But I think that's all we have for today.
Yeah, and it's I have legitimate like recording equipment stuff, so we may in the future someday have some pretty good podcasts if I break it out. Yeah,
there'll be definitely. We're gonna try to get our audio a little better. Get some sound effects in. Like, I hope you guys like the intro I put in. That was the thing I added this week. We're gonna continue working on it, trying to build up subscribers. We love support. I want to thank everyone tonight, and peace.